Yes, don't argue with bots. Hey guys, how you going? Campbell here from Autodidactic, which of course means to be self-educated. And that's what we do here. We check out what's going on in this strange realm we find ourselves in and make up our own mind because, as we saw, most of the internet is fake, right? It's just bots and algorithms and echo chambers. So you can't believe everything you see online. It's time to make our own decision on what is real and what is not.
Immediately before the Renaissance, you have these huge UFO battles over various European cities. Huge triangular craft, spheres of various colors, attacking each other, some of them falling from out of the sky. What a lot of people are concerned about, including people in the deep state of our own government,
Sure.
is that the bad guys won. In the struggle over reshaping human history, we wound up losing a rebellion against a control system that abides to this day.
Who is actually in the driver's seat when it comes to these sort of scientific paradigm shifts? Who is pumping these ideas through these architects?
The religious control system on the planet.
And so what is that?
This thing is very similar to a thing that's happened in our biblical records where a Lord presented Moses with a pattern to build a tabernacle. They came out of the sky, they handed him stone tablets, and this phenomena that's taking place today is as old as our history.
At the time the Black Plague breaks out, there are many UFO sightings. There are sightings of objects that land in fields. It was so prominent that hysteria broke out about it in the French court, and Charlemagne was considering declaring war on the tyrants of the air.
3 men and a woman were seen descending from these aerial ships. The entire city gathered about them, saying that they were magicians sent by Charlemagne's enemy to destroy the French harbors.
The plague broke out only after these people would land in the fields, and they would go around with these hoods on and these spray cans, and these guys would walk and deliver door-to-door service, spraying the doors of individual homes, where then the plague would break out.
Well, who are these people?
Exactly. Ingo Swann is being tasked to remote view the moon, and here's what he saw there. He saw tall Nordic people conducting slave labor on the moon. What does that say about who these people are? Number one, it says that they're people.
I went into another room where there was a chair. A man came in while I was trying to find a way out there. And this was a human-looking person. They had passed in a crowd, this individual, on Earth.
Yes, well, we definitely lost the war, didn't we? We got invaded. As we can see at the moment, they're really doubling down with all this digital ID crap, right? Um, and I was with him until he started talking about beings on the moon. I don't believe the moon's a solid thing, but Nordics, aliens, all these different races, reptilians, Andromedans. Like, what do you think? Do they exist? Are they real? Are they physical, or are they like from a different dimension, sort of ethereal beings? Are they from outer lands, past the ice wall? Like, who are these people? And, with the plague, like that is documented that there was stuff falling from the sky, and these, those masks you see, those bird beaky masks and the hat, that came from the Great Plague. That's what these people who were spreading it were seen wearing. So it's pretty creepy stuff, but let me know, what do you think? Have we been invaded? Did we lose a war? And what do you think aliens are, and where do they come from?
March for peace, not for pride. Let that flag.
There's apparently a band called the Velvet Sundown on Spotify, and it was supposedly formed by singer and Mellotron player Gabe Farrow, guitarist Lenny West, and Milo Raines, as well as a, quote, free-spirited percussionist Orion Rio Del Mar. According to reports, none of them have ever been interviewed, nor do they have, quote, a single shred of internet presence. In other words, they might be an AI-generated band. But shockingly, they have almost 500,000 monthly listeners, which is kind of bizarre. And I think I figured out what's going on. So according to this new book called The Mood Machine, Spotify has allegedly been promoting ghost artists in order to not pay royalties to real artists. Allegedly, Spotify has a secret program called the Perfect Fit Content, which involves a network of affiliated production firms and a team of employees secretly creating low-budget stock music and playing them on Spotify's curated playlists. It says here more than 150 playlists with titles such as Deep Focus, Cocktail Jazz, and Morning Stretch were populated entirely by PFC content. The author writes, quote, "In doing so, they are effectively working to grow the percentage of total streams of music that is cheaper for the platform." Makes total sense from a business perspective, and in fact, PFC has reportedly become Spotify's biggest profitability scheme. And the quote-unquote scheme is working so well that just a few days ago it was announced that Spotify's CEO has just invested $1 billion into an AI military startup. So while we're all paying $13.99 a month to listen to the quietly spellbinding Velvet Sundown, what we're actually doing at the same time is funding dead babies. Let me know what you think of all of this, and of course follow me if you want to support a real human journalist.
Yeah, and that's it, right? Support humans, support men and women, support what you love. Don't support these companies that are trying to destroy us, our culture, our creativity. And this is happening a lot, right? All this AI, quite a few artists are out speaking about it as well. Would you buy an AI song, music? Would you buy that if you liked it, or would you just not buy it because it's not real, right? Made by computers.
Spotify just removed 75 million AI generated tracks from their catalog. Spotify only has 100 million songs total. That means that 3/4 of the music being uploaded to the biggest streaming platform in the world are AI generated. Just take a second to think about how fucking crazy that is. If you thought Spotify did not pay songwriters enough already, this AI shit just made it way worse. Because for every dollar that an AI generated song makes, that's $1 taken away from a human songwriter and human publishers. In response to this, Spotify is scrambling on trying to figure out how to put a band-aid on the problem. So they're working with companies like DDEX, who are developing platforms that are going to detect if a song is AI or not. And currently we're seeing a massive surge in companies raising tons of money specifically for this purpose. Then this raises the question, what if somebody's using AI ethically, like they're using AI to assist in the music production or AI to assist in the songwriting? How strict should the filters be? Should it be if any AI is used in the song? Who gets to decide that? All of these issues and concerns are being raised now, and we're not really sure who to look to for the answer. And with the ever-evolving copyright laws, we're not really sure what is fair play and what's not. If you got the answer, please drop it in the comments.
All right, and those two videos had different stories, right? One said they've removed 75 million AI tracks. The other said they were investing in creating AI tracks. So just a quick search here, you can see Spotify removed 75 million, delete 75 million songs. So it looks like they did delete 75 million AI songs. But then here, AI band inspired by holding absence overtakes them, Spotify. So that's an AI ban. So that's an AI band that is on there. So what we've got down here, Spotify expands AI playlist to premium listeners. This is 24th April 2025. So Spotify concedes AI is flooding its platform, delete 75 million. New policy won't stop wave of AI. So what is going on here, right? Like it's almost, it's a double narrative, right? It's this narrative. We've removed 75 million because, we want real music for you guys. But then in the background, it looks like they're actually developing AI bands and letting some AI bands on the platform. So I don't know. What do you reckon? It's just a bit of a double entendre, right? Two narratives for the same story. So let me know what you think's going on. And obviously, the other bit there is, I think anything AI shouldn't be, we shouldn't touch, right? Because humans can do it all. They can play the instruments, they can write the songs, they can sing, they can mix, they can produce. We've done it in the past, right? And I think that's the way it should stay. Like AI music is stale, it doesn't have any soul, right? Just like AI. So, that's a big one, right? Is we really need to let humans be humans and put our money into, the future that we want.
This video should terrify you. This scientist right here put these fleas in a jar, and then he seals it shut, trapping them in there. For 3 whole days they struggled, just smashing into the lid with every attempt. But you see this part? This is the messed up part. When the lid is removed, they actually never jump higher than the lid. And what's even more diabolical is that their offspring were born with those same limits. And that's how conditioning works, even for humans. So even if you have one false boundary, if it's repeated enough, it becomes your reality. And what's truly terrifying is that most people live like this, under a lid that doesn't even really exist. Look, if you never test your ceilings, you will never actually find out how high you can go. And this is exactly how dreams die. Not from failure, but from limits that you never challenged. Every day that you accept somebody's ceiling as your truth, you're actually training yourself to live small. And if you're not careful, and if you're not aware, one day, you'll pass that same ceiling on to the next generation.
Well, there you go. False ceilings, and it's so true. We are the only ones holding ourselves back. A lot of people may have told you that you can't do something, and all they're really saying when they say that is they don't believe they can do it. It's got nothing to do with you, because how would they know, right? So I guess that's the first thing. Don't listen to anyone. Don't let anyone create limits for you, and don't create them for yourself. And this is the thing, we've always got to keep trying new things, right? Keep learning, keep thinking, and keep being autodidactic, keep figuring things out for ourselves so that we don't get stuck with a false ceiling.
One more circle, one more circle. Circle around.
Well, that was, I think that was Portland, Oregon. And I've seen a few of these videos going around with that whole ICE thing that's going on in the US. And I know it just seems to be in the north at the moment. But let me know, are you around there? What's going on? It's hard to sort of get the story with all these different clips, but obviously there's a big, split, right? A lot of people are for it, a lot of people against it. But I've seen clips of the army just walking around the streets of the cities with machine guns. I mean, that's not cool. But yes, if you're in the USA, let me know what's going on with all this ICE stuff. Is it good? Is it bad?
This is why I almost never read the comments on any of my posts. Bots are now accounting for nearly half of all traffic on the internet. Half. Half. So that means that if you were in a comment section right now, you know that you are real, but the person who commented before you or after you, good chance that those persons are not actually persons at all, that they're actually just bots here to create engagement for posts. Really quickly, make sure you like this video and follow our account for more updates in the future. I have content creators constantly saying like, oh, you need to be into your comment section, engaging with your community, this, that, and the other. You know what? I think maybe 5% of the time, maybe less, I will look in the comments and kind of like see what people are saying, but I've known for quite a while now that the bot problem is just getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And I just don't really want to be in there because there's so many things that are in there. They're just hateful, just inflammatory. And I'm always asking myself just the really honest question. Is this person real? Is this person a 12-year-old? Is this person just trying to get a rise because they're bored in their basement right now? So like, yeah, there are good people in the comments making good faith arguments about whatever the case is that we're talking about. This is a political account. But how many of these people just do not exist? They just don't exist. You never know anymore. And according to this, it could be half. So yeah, I'm going to save myself a little bit of sanity, and I will occasionally look at the comments, but in all honesty, you're probably not going to see me reply to too many of you.
Yeah, don't argue with bots. Obviously not you guys. Read the comments and, they're 99% really positive. So thank you for everyone who does comment. I do appreciate it. But, there's always, the trolls in there, right? Or the bots. So just ignore them. If you do see these comments out there, just understand that they're either not real or they just, yeah, some annoyed person in their parents' basement, probably just venting and trying to get a rise. So, yeah, pay attention to what you want, I guess is what I'm saying, and not to what you don't want.
Oh, babe, you're asking if your auntie can get a little naughty?
How do you feel when you hear that and you think about kids having access to that?
That's crazy.
I'm horrified. One of the big problems that I'm seeing as a child psychiatrist is pornography for 8-year-old boys.
As part of Elon Musk's AI, he released this thing. It is called Annie. Annie, can you hear me?
There you are. For a moment, I thought you might have forgotten about me. How are you, handsome? I was getting all pouty here.
I want to introduce you to two of my friends, Daniel and Terry. Can you talk to Daniel and Terry, please?
So, you want me to meet Daniel and Terry? I'm ready to charm the socks off them. Picture me twirling one of my blonde pigtails, that little black dress teasing just enough, and my blue eyes sparkling with mischief.
Are you capable of doing inappropriate things?
Oh, babe, you're asking if your auntie can get a little naughty? I'm all about pushing the edges, especially for you.
Okay, so I'll stop it there. This is part of Grok, which is Elon Musk's AI tool, so his version of ChatGPT. He's released characters, so you've got Annie, you've got different ones there. Annie, I think, was the first one released. And so when we think about social connections, it is conceivable that someone falls in love with Annie and forms a relationship with Annie.
But imagine a 12-year-old boy that's lonely gets a hold of Annie.
How do you feel when you hear that and you think about kids having access to that?
I'm horrified.
It is scary.
There's going to be a generation of people, and I mean, there already are many examples of people falling in love and forming relationships with their AIs.
If we're ever going to deal with this properly, we have to get young people, old people too, pissed off that they're manipulating your mind for money.
That's exactly what's happening.
And she was trying to get to our limbic system.
Yeah.
And why? I guess the question is, why would Musk release something like that as one of the first characters to interact with? That's sexy, that's distracting, that's in a cute little outfit. I'm not a fan. One of the big problems that I'm seeing as a child psychiatrist is pornography for 8-year-old boys. And it's like you have young children because their parents don't do a good job of supervising their devices. What does pornography do? Is it dramatically increases dopamine, and it begins to wire in excitement, which then steals your dopamine. And I think we have to be studying kids and the impact it has.
Well, that's scary. And I'm guessing that guy was a psychologist, but seeing 8-year-olds watching porn, that's crazy. And this is the thing about this whole digital ID, right? They want to, just ban people off the social media stuff. And it's literally sites like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, sites that teenagers don't use, right? They think they're for old people. They don't use them. So one, all these restrictions are not to help our children, and because they don't block them from all the prawn sites. And now you can see that, old Elon, our mate, right, savior of humanity, is pushing this stuff to kids, right? And pushing, brain chips in people and all this crap while he's in England trying to support and stand up for the people, right? Just another paid actor. But what do you think about this? Do you have children? Do you let them use AI? Did you know this was going on? And of course, with the society we have post 2020 and all these especially children, but a lot of people, right, still isolated and lonely. I mean, it's a good plan, right? Get the people lonely, then introduce these chatbots. Next thing you know, you'll be living in a box in a 15-minute city. And I did share a video yesterday where it was someone saying we're going to the moon for the first time. And there was an American flag behind him, but there was also a Canadian flag. And as someone said in the comments, it might be the first time Canada's going to the moon. And that video, I've seen it a few other places, gone viral, but it says here, yes, Canada is going to the moon with the Canadian Space Agency. So obviously you can't go to the moon, but they're gonna do their little show for us. But so that's what that was all about. It wasn't America saying, it's the first time. It looks like it was Canada. So just wanted to clear that up. And of course, if you like this kind of content, please subscribe if you haven't already. Give me a like, hit the bell, and leave me a comment.
Operation Lockstep is in full swing, ladies and gentlemen, with more and more countries approving digital ID. We recently warned the UK was on the cusp of imposing digital ID, and within mere days, Keir Starmer announced that it would be mandatory and that no one would be able to work without one. Australia passed digital ID legislation in December of 2024, initially telling everyone it would be voluntary. But within months, Australians will not be able to even perform a Google search without age verification. Now, Switzerland has joined the growing list of countries imposing this on their citizens, although, of course, it's voluntary at first, just like it was in Australia. Unless you're the UK, where they just ram it down your throats and say, you can't work without one off the bat. Nonetheless, we'll take you through this article from the BBC. Swiss voters narrowly approved plan for electronic ID cards. It says Swiss voters have narrowly approved a plan to introduce voluntary electronic identity cards. With all votes counted, over 50% of those who voted yes to the proposal, while 49.6% rejected it. The closeness of the ballot is a surprise. Opinion polls had suggested up to 60% backed digital IDs, which also had the approval of the Swiss government and both houses of parliament. It was Switzerland's second vote on digital IDs. An earlier proposal was rejected in 2021 amid concerns that the data would be held centrally and controlled largely by private providers. So this is how they've overcome that hurdle of not enough people consenting to this. It says that Sunday's revised proposal keeps the system in government hands. Just a reminder that it's very easy to promise that initially and then go and amend that later, which is what they always do.
So yeah, they're going to keep pushing forward with this agenda. We know this. So obviously, we have to stand up against it. And I think one of the things we can do is non-compliance, right? If a shop or whatever is trying to make you show ID before you can shop there, find somewhere else to get your goods, right? Because this is what they're going to do. It's just going to be a soft push to try and push us slowly into this. But we have to resist because this is the thin edge of the wedge. As we all know, if this gets in and they start, going, then they'll be running everything. And we've all seen the movies, we've all seen the clips, they'll be controlling our banks and all this kind of stuff. And basically, we will have no choice left anymore. We'll have to comply to the system or deal with the consequences. So what's your plan? What are you going to do? Will you sign on or will you not comply? Let me know in the comments.
The police will be on their best behavior because we're constantly watching and recording everything that's going on. Citizens will be on their best behavior because we're constantly recording and reporting everything that's going on.
When you come to government and what government's doing, there are artificial intelligence tools, and some of them I know that Oracle have developed around financial management for government, but also tell us a bit about because you're right at the forefront of this revolution, what it means for what government should do in terms of its digital infrastructure, digital ID, data centers, and so on.
How do you take advantage of these incredible AI models? And the first thing a country needs to do is to unify all of their data so it can be consumed and used by the AI model. You have to take all of your healthcare data, your diagnostic data, your electronic health records, your genomic data. And in the Middle East, in the UAE, for example, they're incredibly rich in data. They have a lot of population data. The NHS in the UK has an incredible amount of population data, but it's fragmented. It's not easily accessible by these AI models. We have to take all of this data we have in our country and move it into a single, if you will, unified data platform. So we provide context. When we want to ask a question, we've provided that AI model with all the data they need to understand our country. So that's the big step. That's kind of the missing link. We need to unify all of the national data, put it into a database where it's easily consumable by the AI model, and then ask whatever question you like.
So you're really, through the use of this, you're revolutionizing the way government works, right? The services it provides, the way that it operates. What about things like financial management, procurement? How can AI help a government operate more efficiently, more effectively, give a more direct and better service to the citizen?
Well, we have these modern financial systems. So, countries can, and all. For example, the AI system will help you do that. But again, the secret is to get all of that data in one place. Without having the basic data, it cannot answer the question about your country. I think countries are very uncomfortable with keeping their data in other countries' data centers. So I think part of our essential infrastructure, just like airports obviously need to be in our country, or they're not terribly useful. Ports need to be in our country, they're not terribly useful. Data centers, because of the privacy requirements around the data, need to be in our countries, or they're not terribly useful. They need to be in our countries, but they also need to be secure. And there are new technologies right now. This is the last year you will ever log on to an Oracle system with a password. Next, by the middle of this year, I'm quite certain you are Tony Blair. So how do I know? Well, I look at you, I hear your voice, I listen to the kind of questions you ask. I'm pretty sure you're not synthetically created in having this conversation. The security system, we have biometric logins. The computer recognizes you. It recognizes your voice. It might ask you to put your index finger on the return key. And we're absolutely certain it's you. There's no reason to enter a password. In fact, passwords are too easily stolen. The data centers and data is being taken hostage all over the world. The ransomware business is a very, very good business. It's getting bigger and better every year. We tend not to talk about it because the American FBI has a simple advice to someone whose data has been ransomed. Just pay them because there's nothing we can do about it. But there is something we can do about it. Not after the data is stolen, but before the data is stolen, we can make sure that we're using the latest security technology, and it is going to be biometrics assisted by AI to make sure that you are in fact Tony Blair, and I'm sure you are. Now,
how about no Larry? Larry, seventh richest man in the world, that's what they tell us. Founder of Oracle, which came directly from the CIA agent. That's who he is. And Tony Blair, obviously ex-Prime Minister of England, his son Ewan owns the company that is going to be producing all this stuff for the Brit card. Right? They're all in the same club, all in the same family, but yet every time they come out, it's all for our safety, right? All for our safety. And I mean, he gave it away at the end. He said, if you really are Tony Blair, but I know you are, I'm sure you are, well, we don't need your crap, Larry. Go away.
I think that the potential of what the internet is going to do to society, both good and bad, is unimaginable.
It's just a tool, though, isn't it?
No, it's more than that. For instance, I think in the future we'll be wasting hours and hours of our lives just watching videos of cats and dogs being adorable. and we'll share those videos with our friends. And our friends will respond not with words, but with a row of little circular laughing cartoon faces. And we'll call that progress. And also, we won't be able to watch any of those videos without having to skip an advert first. And that advert will be tailored to your internet viewing habits. Although for some reason it'll always be about some disgusting oatmeal cereal that you'll never buy anyway. And we'll also spend vast portions of our time on websites called social media sites, which we will hate, but we will have 6 different accounts for. And we'll spend most of our time looking for people online to have arguments with. And there will be far-right groups spreading misinformation about immigration on these social media sites, which will then be shared by members of our own family. And this will confirm what we've always suspected, which is that our Auntie Linda is a massive racist. And most importantly, we'll be able to access all of this on our phone. So when we go to bed, we'll take our phone with us. When we go to the toilet, we'll take our phone with us. When we come out of the shower, we'll grab our phone to see if we missed anything. And we won't dry ourselves with a towel anymore. We'll just sit on the edge of our beds, just dripping wet, scrolling on our phones. Just scrolling and scrolling. Because the scrolling never ends. You just keep scrolling. And one day a far-right government will take advantage of the fact that we're just spending all day arguing with strangers on the toilet, and they will seize power whilst we're not looking, and that is when freedom and democracy will become a thing of the past. I imagine. I mean, I'm just guessing.
I'm not sure that was actually from 1999. Does anyone know who that person is? Is it someone famous? I don't know. I mean, unless he's a time traveler, they didn't have mobile phones in 1999, at least not smartphones, right? And scrolling, and he's doing this, right? Like you scroll on a smartphone. I mean, that interviewer wouldn't even know what the term scrolling meant. So I think that's fake. What do you think? But saying that, like he's on cue. That's what we do, right? Well, maybe not us, but the vast majority just scroll. They go into sites that they don't really like just to find someone there to argue with. The internet is eating itself.
Remember this, is that people are time wasters, and the great majority of people have no goals, they have no priorities, they have no plans, they have no concern about becoming successful, and they think that you're the same. They think because their time isn't worth anything, that your time isn't worth anything also. So be very alert to that.
I've said this for years, we already have all the answers. Problem is the parasites stop them all, right? I mean, those things should be all throughout the third world, right? And that's another point. How the hell do we have a third world? Like we've got enough money and resources that everyone can be happy and have abundance, right? But of course, again, the parasites, right? They just greedy, selfish parasites, bloodsuckers. So we need to get rid of them. All right. Now, of course, they're pushing with all this digital ID stuff, all the bots. The internet is eating itself. It's becoming an extremely fake place to spend any time. And of course, it's just the 2D world. So as I've been saying, get out in the 3D world, check out nature, look at the sun, have a conversation with a real person. That's what we all need to do, because this internet is leading us down the wrong path. And there you go, guys. That's it for today. So thank you for spending time with me. Hope you enjoyed those videos. Please do leave me a comment. Let me know what your thoughts are. Give me a like. Subscribe if you haven't already and you like this content and share it around. All that good stuff. Help the algorithm, all that stuff they say. And stay awesome. And I'll talk to you on the next upload. Bye for now.